Okay, dear venerable brother, Dhamma friends, we are going to start the second Dhamma sermon. May you give your consent by saying sadhu sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Viññāna sattveva bhikkave aniccatāṃ viditva viparināma virāga nirodhaṃ pubbē ceva viññānaṃ etarahi ca sabbhaṃ viññānaṃ aniccaṃ dukkhaṃ viparināma dhammanti evametaṃ yathā bhūtaṃ sammappaññāya passato yeka soka parideva dukkha domanassa-te pahiyanti iti. Dear friends in Dhamma, venerable brother, so basically, as you can probably remember, we have kept Attadipa Sutta as the topic for this series of retreats. And yesterday particularly we discussed about the consciousness aggregate. So as you all can remember, there are 5 aggregates. How Buddha divide all our experience into 5 categories, 5 aggregates. The form aggregate, feeling aggregate, perceptions aggregate, formations aggregate, and the consciousness aggregate. So we already discussed about the previous 4 aggregates, and today actually it would be the last Dhamma sermon because we are now discussing about the consciousness aggregate. Actually, consciousness aggregate is pretty tricky. Now say for example, recognizing form aggregate is not that difficult. You can understand, you can touch it, you can feel it, the form aggregate. It is because material. That is why we are starting with Kaya Anupassana, which is tangible, something easy to understand. And using the mind, you can recognize the materiality. You can touch it, you can feel it. So basically it is easy as an entry point to the practice, Kaya Anupassana, where we are dealing with the form aggregate. And then recognizing feelings also not that difficult. So if we are maintaining some amount of mindfulness, understanding different feelings. When there are pleasurable feelings, you can understand, okay, there is a pleasurable feeling. When there is a pain, probably you can understand, yes, there is a pain. If there is any kind of equanimous feeling, that also you can understand, okay, there is an equanimous feeling. Vedana-anupassana. Not that difficult. But as we are moving forward, perceptions aggregate may be little difficult. But formations aggregate, not that difficult, because thoughts, various intentions, various thoughts appearing in the mind. So as we are progressing, when you are dealing with Chitta-anupassana, so different categories of thoughts, different types of thoughts you can recognize. There is a lustful thought, there is a thought of ill will, there is a, say, restlessness, there is certain amount of, say, anger, there is thoughts of considering someone else's progress maybe, as we discuss, say, loving kindness thoughts. So different types of thoughts, that is also not difficult to understand as we are progressing. But understanding perceptions would be difficult because very primitive. So when the mind is fairly conditioned as a result of certain perception, when the mind has become colored, we are operating in that. So understanding these perceptions would be difficult. And similarly, understanding the function of consciousness is also difficult because it is so intricate, interwoven, so closely attached with. So that's why particularly it is mentioned, you need fair amount of wisdom to be developed in order to understand the function of consciousness. Paññā bhāve tabbā viññānaṃ pariññaya. One needs to develop wisdom, then only you can have a thorough understanding of the function of consciousness. So yesterday we laid the foundation about what is consciousness and what is their function. So the main function of consciousness is the cognition. It can distinctly cognize when there are many objects available. It can distinctly recognize, okay, this is this, like that. Say, for example, there's a crowd here. Okay, I can distinctly recognize there's a monk, there's an old person, there's a young person. So whatever the way, with your names if I know, so you can distinctly recognize, distinctly cognize. So that distinct cognition is the function of consciousness. Say, for example, you are having your meals, as Buddha giving the example. So you can distinctly recognize, okay, this is bitter taste, this is sweet taste, this is pungent taste, this is salty. So like that you can distinctly recognize. Amidst many things are available, while many other things are available, you can distinctly recognize. So this is the primary function of consciousness. But another side we yesterday discussed, that is where how consciousness become established, how it is being grown, how it become fairly rooted based on other aggregates. So either consciousness is established, stationed upon form aggregate. Either it is established, stationed upon feelings aggregate. Either it is established, stationed upon formations aggregate. Either it is established in the perceptions aggregate. So all other aggregates are very much like stations, very much like homes. Therefore, whenever consciousness associates any of these other aggregates, form, feeling, perceptions and formations, then Buddha say it is okasariti uchati. Consciousness become someone associating a home, associating a station. It is not a released consciousness, it is not a freed consciousness, but it is an established consciousness. It is something well established, something well rooted, well footed and closely bound with. That is where it is growing, no escape. So when such grown, established, delighted, attached, engaged type of consciousness is there, so we are being, say, so we are not released. So we are captured, captivated, shackled. So the function of consciousness basically being hidden as a result of the craving. That also we yesterday discussed. Say, when you see something, immediately you are being attracted to what you see because of the function of craving. When you see something, probably you are making a self into your side because of function of the craving, or we can say even conceit. So likewise, craving is particularly responsible to conceal the function of consciousness. It hides the function of consciousness. So the function of consciousness is very tricky, very subtle. So that function being hidden because of the function of craving. So when we have fair amount of craving, we can't understand the function of consciousness. Now what happened during Vipassana? Now say, for example, you are practicing Kayanupassana. Assume that you are practicing elements meditation. So you already have some amount of mindfulness, already have some amount of focus, attention, concentration. You know how to balance your effort. And now you are keeping your attention on to various phenomena, say bodily phenomena. Maybe hardness, maybe softness, maybe roughness, maybe smoothness, maybe lightness, maybe heaviness, maybe fluidity, maybe movements, vibrations. So all that very fundamental characteristics of elements. So again and again you are applying your mind, observing it, applying your mind, investigating it, applying your mind, investigating it, applying your mind, investigating it. So what is the result? So you will understand the true nature of those phenomena, of those elements. So what are the true nature? They are impermanent, they are coming, they are going, arising, passing away, they are changing. So all that vulnerabilities that you start understanding, their behavior you start observing. As a result of that observation, So you are thoroughly understanding their behavior, not by mere hearing. It's not by mere, say, superficial understanding, rather by your own experience. Now you know exactly this is coming and going. It has a nature to come and go. It has a nature to appear and disappear. It has a nature to change. It is impermanent. It is uncertain. So when you see like this, when you realize like this, it is natural to reduce passion. It is natural to reduce desires. It is natural to reduce whatever the lust. So on the other hand, what we are talking now is that craving is now reduced. So who is the culprit hiding the function of consciousness? Craving. Now as a result of the Vipassana process, now we are reducing craving in a way. So as you are continuing your practice more and more, craving is somewhat reduced now. Not many desires. Now you can see things, but your mind not get much attracted with it. Previously you are being attracted, you are being driven by it, you want it, I can't sleep without it. So whatever the way, you are too attracted. But now you can see, but mind remain calm. So certain amount of reduction of craving has happened. So you are no more in the captivity of the craving. So to some extent, your mind is relaxed, your mind is released. Now you can see, but not driven by what you have seen. Now you can hear, but you are not driven by what you have heard. You can smell, you can taste, you can touch, but you are not driven by that. And similarly, there may be thoughts coming and going in the mind, but you are not being driven by those thoughts. And you are having some amount of a stable mind now, some stable mind. It prefers seclusion. It stays alone, stays calm, stays relaxed. So now you get an ability to understand the function of consciousness. So I have explained in one side. Now similarly on the other side, say you are practicing Chittanupassana more and more. Say previously your mind is crowded with so much of thinking, overthinking. Many thoughts are there. No rest to the mind because it's continuously think. But as a result of your practice, now you are paying attention to the mind directly, looking at the mind directly, and you can see how thoughts are coming and going, thoughts are coming and going, thoughts are coming and going. But you are not promoting any of the thoughts. It could be a wholesome thought, but you are not promoting it. It could be an unwholesome thought, still you are not promoting it. You know it is as merely a thought. You know it as it is. It has the nature to come, it has the nature to go. It has the nature to appear, it has the nature to disappear. So that is its intrinsic characteristic. It is not something you do. Their intrinsic characteristic, their universal characteristic is impermanence. They are coming and going. Now, when you see how they are coming and going, and you are not strengthening them, you are not giving much value to them, and you understand, okay, they are merely thoughts. I don't need to promote any of the thoughts. Let me relinquish thoughts. Let me free my mind from thinking. That's what Buddha promotes in the Chittanupassana section. In Anapanasati Sutta, Buddha say, Vimochayan chittang asasisamiti sikkati. Vimochayan chittang pasasisamiti sikkati. Say you are meditating, but relinquishing what is available in the mind, release in the mind, free in the mind. So what is the result? So you get a free mind, relaxed mind, calm mind, complete clarity of mind, no thoughts now. No thinking, no thoughts, but fully aware. You are not dead. Because you know that as we discussed yesterday, according to Descartes, so we have to die. If there are no thoughts, there is no you, no. You have to die when thinking stops. But fortunately, we don't die. Even though no thoughts, no thinking, still you are fully aware. So don't worry about it. You are not going to die. Thinking has stopped. No thoughts at all, but you are fully awake. So that's the beauty of the Dhamma. So when you are practicing Satipatthana, you may arrive this kind of a stage. So you may experience complete inner silence, no thinking at all. Inner chatter has completely stopped, disappeared. You are experiencing complete clarity of your mind. Suppose you had a completely dirty cloth. Say you have used it to touch, say, pots. You have used it to clean the tables. You have used it in the kitchen. You have used it in the garage. So it's completely dirty. Suppose now you are washing it using various detergents. You are applying Surf Excel. You are applying that Excel, this Excel. All the Excels are there. Ultimately, it will become completely pure. Now a pure white cloth. What is there now? Nothing is there. Completely pure. But cloth is available. Very pure. Now what happened? Even a single drop of ink, even a single drop of dust, clearly visible. This is exactly what happens in our mind. So as we are continuing our practice, more and more mind become clear, cleansed, purified. So you can easily see what are the thoughts arising. And now you can even see what are the images arising. In your mind, are you frequently getting images of your son? Are you frequently getting images of your daughter? Are you frequently getting images of your mother, father, husband, wife, your neighbor, your enemy, your loved one, your fiancé, whatever it is? Images. Now they become images, not a person. Hope you all are understood what I am talking. Okay? Now you can see how your mind get crowded with various images. So we call them as signs, sanya. Various marks, various shapes. So they are coming to your mind and it's get crowded. Mind get occupied again. But now you are not promoting it. You simply understand it's a mirage, it's a sign, it is also dropped. You prefer clarity over crowdedness. You prefer clarity over having a congested mind, a burdened mind. You prefer silence over thinking mind, proliferating mind. So that is, these things have to be very clear. So that's why you need to promote silence. We need to promote some sort of a non-proliferation. Nippapancha rato. So we are changing our attitude now. Have to. If we want to be successful in our practice, we have to change our attitude. Previously, we were in the other side, opposite side, papanchabhirato. That means we prefer thinking, overthinking, rumination, conceptual proliferation, overthinking, thinking, ultimately depressed, ultimately angry, ultimately, completely confused. But instead of promoting that, now you promote silence. Let me calm down myself, let me tranquilize myself, let me reduce unnecessary thinking. Only it is essential, then only I am thinking. So you are promoting another angle in your mind. So this is the way of practice. That's why very beautifully Venerable Sariputta pointed out, Yocha papanchang hitvana nippapancha pade rato aradaiso nibbanang yoga khemang anuttarang. The person who has abandoned conceptual proliferation, Yocha papanchang hitvana nippapancha pade rato. Now he prefers nippapancha. He prefers complete silence. Not thinking, not overthinking, but silence. Nippapancha pade rato. That is what he delighted with. That is what he promotes, that's what he is yearning for. Nippapancha pade rato, aradaiso nibbanam, yogakkemang anuttaram. And he is like inviting to the nibbana, which is the complete deliverance from all the different kinds of yokes, all the different kinds of tanglements. So that's the path. So as we are going forward, so you are experiencing some sort of a clarity. Now, when you arrive at this kind of a clarity of the mind, either using Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, now it is easy to understand the function of consciousness. Now let me take an example, a simile, which is very beautifully explained by Most Venerable Kadukurunde Jnanananda Thero. Now suppose you are in a theatre. So while you are in a theatre, say all the doors are closed, all the windows are closed, you are in pitch darkness. Can you see anything? Nobody. You can't see who is in front, you can't see anything on your right, left, nothing, complete darkness. Now suppose using the projector, some beautiful image, beautiful scenery, beautiful episode being projected onto the picture, and you are being driven by that. Suppose it's an exciting event, someone is hitting and crashing, and if you had a gun, you are thinking of shooting him. So I can remember, I think someone has mentioned in Mexico. So those theaters have the screen made with concrete. Why? So the spectators are going with guns, pistols. So in case, whatever the enemy, the bad guy, if he is coming too much, the spectators are shooting him. Boom. So realistic. Because you are completely driven by that episode. Suppose you were in that episode, you were looking like that. At that moment, all of a sudden, what happened? All the closed doors are now open, all the windows are open. Now what happened? Now you can see there is someone in front of you, someone next to you, and you are on a chair. What happened? You come back to this world, well grounded, completely thrown away from that imaginary episode, completely thrown away from that fiction. We were in a fiction, we were in an imagination, we were in an illusion, but not anymore. Why? That whatever the light coming through the windows, coming through the doors are so powerful that, say, sunlight is so powerful, it has erased the images projected onto the screen. They may be still showing there. The projector is still working, but your interest has gone. Because darkness is not anymore. Instead, the light is available. Pictures are being shown in the screen, but they are merely pictures. They are very much discolored now. And you can't create an episode now. You are not getting deluded by those pictures because you can see the reality. You are well grounded. You are living in the present moment. Not in a fiction, not in an illusion. Now, same thing happens in our mind when we are practicing Vipassana. So we have created the world. I am someone, you are someone. So we are in a kind of a created illusory world. But as we are practicing Vipassana, slowly, our wisdom growing, and that consciousness, which is typically tangled in name and form, where we ignorantly thinking this name and form is true, real, that's why we tangled. But as a result of the knowledge, as a result of the wisdom growing through the Vipassana, now you can see this is mere episode, this is mere illusion, this mere name and form. what is appearing in consciousness. Take consciousness as the screen, what is projected onto the screen, that episode, that images, like the name and form. So, with the application of light, that episode, that image being discolored, being erased. Similarly, when as a result of the availability of the wisdom, that name and form also erased in the mind. Hope you can tally these two situations. Recognize the simile in one side, apply Vipassana onto the other side, see the parallelism, see how they are analogues to each other. Screen as the consciousness, what is shown in the screen as the name and form. Darkness as the ignorance, light as the wisdom. So when you are getting light through the doors and the windows, it is projected or it is appearing into the screen. What is being shown is now erased. Similarly, when wisdom appears in our mind, previously ignorant mind is no more. Name and form is erased. Mind become empty. Now, name and form is essential for the established consciousness to get well established. Say, for example, you as an spectator, you are watching that movie, you are watching that episode, and you need completely fair amount of ignorance for you to enjoy that episode. If that ignorance is not available, you can't enjoy. You can't clap. You can't cry when something is shown. If you are crying, that means you are fully deluded. If you are laughing, still you are deluded. Because there's a beautiful image, beautiful episode, so you are being deluded, that's why you have become emotional. You forget it as a fiction. So what happens when the light is available? Still the role is playing, but the possibility of getting deluded by that become less and less. Because you are well grounded. I am here, I am sitting. In front of me there is another person. Next to me there is another person. You are well grounded, you know the full picture. There is an episode also, but very difficult to get deluded now. Because you see the whole picture. Same thing in our mind. So more we develop Vipassana, more we develop wisdom, so you know the function of the consciousness. It has the capacity to reflect. So name and form is very much like what is being projected onto the screen. Screen has the capacity to show us, to reflect back. So when name and form is put into the consciousness, consciousness has the capacity to reflect it back. But if we have wisdom, then we know, okay, this is merely a name and form. This is merely a thought. This is merely a feeling. This is merely a perception. This is merely a mental image. This is merely a mental object. It is not me. It is not mine. It is not myself. It doesn't belong to me. They are impermanent. They are non-self. So the wisdom is operating in the mind. Now you are not promoting thinking. You are not promoting getting deluded, attachment, grasping. Instead you promote relinquishment, abandonment, keeping the mind empty, keeping the mind in silence. So Buddha explains here in the Attadipa Sutta like this. Vijnana sattveva bhikkhave aniccatam viditva. Now say for example, sometimes again due to ignorance, again sometimes we get deluded. Again you create an image and a kind of an image appear, again you get established there. Again there is a established consciousness. But the moment wisdom arises, again it disappears. You drop, relinquish. Say for example, you as a result of the practice, you are able to arrive a state where mind does not grasp anything at all. But it is only for a short moment. Again, assume there's a thought, there's an image popping up in your mind. Unfortunately, you got caught up in it. Again trapped. But after a while, again wisdom arises. What am I doing? Again wisdom arises. So, as a result of re-establishment of mindfulness, as a result of re-establishment of wisdom, again the image, whatever the object, again dropped. So you recognize how this is happening. Momentarily deluded, again wisdom arises, so the delusion reduced, ignorance reduced, again the release mind happened. Free mind happened. So now you understand what is going on in your mind. At one time, grasping is there. At another time, no grasping is there. At one time, it has become crowded. At another time, it has become very clear, purified. So you understand the situation. So whenever ignorance is there, many formations are there. Many fabrications are there. Many talking is there. Inner chatter is there. Then the consciousness established. Name and form is there. So you get deluded, you get attached, you get trapped. When there is no ignorance, you become silent, mind become clear, nothing is there, consciousness is not established. Avidya pacca sankhara, sankhara pacca viññānaṁ, viññāna pacca nāma-rūpaṁ. Avidyāyatyeva asesa viraga nirodho, sankhara nirodha, sankhara nirodho, viññāna nirodha, viññāna nirodho, nāma-rūpa nirodha. So we are coming to the very essence of wisdom. So if we are able to understand the function, the relationship between consciousness and name and form, Buddha say in Mahanidana Sutta, this is the climax of wisdom. This is the max you can go in wisdom, in Yoniso Manasikara. It is not outside, it is inside. In the mind, how you get trapped in name and form and how it has a kind of a circle. It has a kind of a whirlpool. Consciousness and name and form. Consciousness and name and form. Consciousness conditions name and form. Name and form conditions consciousness. Viññāna pacca nāma-rūpaṁ, nāma-rūpa pacca viññānaṁ. This is a very tricky, very subtle point. Typically what we know, viññāna pacca nāma-rūpaṁ, nāma-rūpa pacca salayatanaṁ, salayatana pacca passo, we go like that. But remember, there is a interrelationship between consciousness and name and form. Consciousness conditions name and form conditions consciousness. It's a very tricky area. Not knowing this relationship, we continue to wander. This is the inner tangle. Very tricky area. So the more we develop wisdom, probably we may be able to understand at least a certain time, okay, nothing is there in the mind. No name and form. No feelings are there. No much perceptions are there. No thoughts are there. And say, no other images appearing in the mind. So you are experiencing complete calmness, complete clarity. Can you just be there? Just be there, not asking anything, not requesting anything, not thinking anything, not promoting thinking, not having any doubts, but just be, just enjoy inner silence. Very interesting. Sabba sankhara samato. Complete silencing, calming down of all the different kinds of formations. Because no ignorance. Ignorance is a must to have formations. Avidya pacca sankhara. Without ignorance, you can't have any formations. Your mind stops. Are you dead? Are you dead? No, you are fully awake, fully live, fully awake, fully aware, but mind has stopped. Why? Nothing is there to hold, no objects. Now, if we compare the situation with samatha meditation, say you are looking at particular object again and again, you concentrate only to that object, discarding everything else, and ultimately you get absorbed to that object, you fixed onto that object, mind remain calm and fixed as a result of that fixation, as a result of that anchoring onto that object. Here, what's the difference? How the mind has stopped. No wandering. How? Nothing is there. Nothing to hold, no object at all, mind stops. So basically this is well explained in the Upaya Sutta. So let me explain that using that. So, Rupa Dhatuyache Bhikkave Rago Pahino Hoti. Suppose that you are practicing Kayanupassana, and Buddha say, as a result of that practice, now you are slowly abandoning the lust, abandoning the desire, whatever the attachment towards the form aggregate. So, you can see things, but mind is not interested. You can hear things, mind is not interested. Smell, taste, touch, tangibles, those are there, but mind likes to be alone. Dispassionate about sights, dispassionate about sounds, dispassionate about smells, tastes and tangibles. Dispassion is there now. Rago pahino hoti. Craving has abandoned. Ragassa pahana vachidada rammanang patitta viññānassa nohoti. Now Buddha say, once lust has been abandoned, consciousness can't get established. Only when lust is available, only when desire is available, only when craving is available, the consciousness has a footing in the form aggregate. But when lust is abandoned, passion is abandoned, desires are abandoned, craving are abandoned, so consciousness can't get it established in the form aggregate. Now what happened? Vachidada rammanang. So the link between consciousness and the object broken. No more. Patitta viññānassa nohoti. Now the consciousness doesn't have a footing. Tang appatittitang viññānang. So when consciousness become unestablished, avirulhang, now it can't grow. Annabi sankacca vimuttang. It is not being fabricated anymore. Fabrications are stopped. Formations are stopped. Conditioning has stopped. As a result of that, it gets released. Annabi sankacca vimuttang. Vimuttatta tithang. Once it is released, no attachment, no object, it becomes objectless, it stops. Vimuttatta tithang. It is released, liberated, stopped. Titatta santusitang. And once it is liberated, it is contented, no agitation. But unfortunately, till we have very strong sakkaya ditthi, we get frightened when we reach this state. Why? Because sakkaya ditthi we are maintaining as a result of established consciousness, as a result of some kind of a tanglement in the mind, some kind of a grasping in the mind. Either you are grasping the form aggregate and create a self. Either you are grasping feeling aggregate and create a self. Either you are grasping perceptions aggregate, create a self. Either you are grasping formations aggregate, create a self. Either you are grasping consciousness aggregate, create a self. So what happened? No grasping. You can't create a self. What's going to happen to me? Where am I? Am I going to die? you get frightened. Because strong me is there, strong ego is there. So ego become helpless. I become helpless. I have no place to sit. I have no place to stand. So you can easily become frightened. So the point is, we have to practice again and again, again and again, again and again. So you start experiencing this frightful situation again and again. Later you understand nothing has happened. Arms are still working, legs still working, head is still there. You can touch and see. Probably you can open your eyes and see. So some yogis are telling, Bhante, I have arrived there, you got really frightened. Then I opened my eyes and just touched my whole body, it's still there. Nothing has happened. Very beautiful. Honestly, they have become frightened. Because once you reach the result, nothing to hold, you really get frightened. Because still person is there. But you can't create that person. You have no footing to stand upon. But when you reach that experience again and again, you feel, okay, nothing to get frightened. I can just be there. Whatever happens, let me die. Okay, let me go there. So you are getting more courage now. Actually, fair amount of, say, encouragement is required at such state. Fair amount of confidence is required. Fair amount of faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is required. And you have to give up everything. Let me die. Doesn't matter. I have given my life to the Buddha. I have given my life to the Dhamma. I have given my life to the Sangha. Let me die. Nothing to worry. I am doing it. You have that courage. So again reach it. Nothing is there. Nothing to hold. You just be there. Doing nothing. Whatever happened, let it happen. So like that you are encouraged. You yourself convinced about the thing. You are listening to the Dhamma. You get a lot of convincing information about the suttas, about the Buddha's teaching. Again you are doing it. Next time, say you are able to stay there just 1 minute. Next time 2 minutes. Next time 3 minutes. Next time 5 minutes. Next time 6 minutes. Next time 10 minutes. No one is there. Just be there. Very interesting. Nobody is there. No experience in the sense, no object is there. Mind is empty, but you are enjoying the emptiness. So, Buddha mentioned here, Titatta santusitang. While being there, now you are happy. You are slowly contented. Previously you were frightened, but now you are enjoying it. Now you are risk-loving in a way. So you are going there, I am going again there, you like that experience, next time also I am going to try that. So you are imagining about that experience, okay, next time you are trying that, jump to that, be there. Titatta santusitang, you start enjoying it. Being nobody, being no one. Santusisatta na paritassati, no agitation now. Because contentment is there, happiness is there, some amount of joy is there, so no agitation at all. Aparitassang pacchattang eva parinibbayati. So here Buddha mentioned, so no agitation, no frustration, no any kind of restlessness, so you become calm, cool, quiet. That is from the Upaya Sutta. Now, same information is available in the Attadipa Sutta. Buddha mentioned like this. Viññāna sattveva bhikkhave aniccatam viditva viparināma virāga nirodhaṃ pubbe cheva viññānaṃ etarahica sabbang viññānaṃ. And say, for example, you have seen how sights or seeing happens. Whenever sight appears, when your eyes are open, seeing happens. Whenever sounds are there, when the ear is there, hearing happens. But it's coming and going. It's arise and passed away. Seeing also like that. Seeing happens and it disappears. It ends. Then smell is there, nose is there. Smelling happens, it also disappears. Tongue is there, taste is there, you recognize some taste, it also disappears. Come and go. Body is there, touch or tangible is there, some object is there. You feel the touch, you feel the sensation, it also gone. Mind is there, mental object is there, you become aware of it, then it has gone. So these are experiences, sensory experiences. So you are able to cognize it, you are able to experience it, but it is impermanent. It is dependent. So when there is no light, you can't see. It is dependent. If your eyes are closed, you can't see. It is dependent. The sight is dependent. And even you see does not remain in your eye. You can close your eye, it has received, it has erased. The sight erased. The seeing stopped. Hearing stopped. Seeing has the nature to come and go. Hearing has the nature to come and go, arise and pass away. Smelling has the nature to come and go, arise and pass away. Tasting has the nature to come and go, arising and passing away. Touching has the nature to come and go, arising and passing away. Even the mental cognition has the nature to arise and pass away, come and go. So you understand how these senses are operating. They are impermanent. So the function of consciousness is impermanent. Eye consciousness is impermanent. Ear consciousness impermanent. Nose consciousness impermanent. Tongue consciousness impermanent. Body consciousness impermanent. Mind consciousness impermanent. So you understand it. All different kinds of consciousness now you understand as impermanent. Anicchataṃ viditva. Sabbang viññānaṃ. Aniccaṃ dukkhaṃ viparināma dhammanti. Evamethaṃ yatha bhūtaṃ sammapaññāya passato. Now you see they have the nature to come and go. They are changing. They are impermanent. They are inconstant. They are transient. Now you know it. You understood it. Ye soka parideva dukkha domanasupāyāsā te pahiyanti. So now you are not making a person. Now you are not making an episode. Now you are not making a story. You are not continuously think. You drop it. You are not continuously holding on to things. You are dropping it. You are not holding any mental objects in the mind. You are dropping it because they are useless. No point of holding. They are not belong to me. They can't satisfy me. They doesn't belong to me. I am dropping it. Tesam pahana na paritassati. Once everything relinquished, once everything abandoned, no agitation. Because they are the ones causing agitation. But nothing is there to agitate the mind now. What is there to agitate the mind when nothing is there? Say for example, there is a thought. A thought about next election. It can agitate your mind. Who is going to win? Is this culprit going to come again? Certain amount of agitation. So there's a thought. Thought is necessary to agitate you. But if there are no thoughts at all, what is going to agitate? Maybe a feeling. There could be a thought without, there could be a little kind of a feeling without a thought. That's also possible. Say, assume that you are in a jhana. No thinking at all. Say you are in the second jhana. Thoughts have stopped. But you get trapped in that feeling. Very sublime kind of a feeling is there. It is enough for the consciousness to get established. So tricky, so subtle. So that's the problem. Even when you are in a jhana, if you are absorbed, if you are completely engulfed, completely immersed in that jhana, consciousness has a footing. Not in thoughts, but maybe in the feelings, maybe in the perception. So tricky. That is where Buddha say internally stuck. Internally stuck, not externally, but internally stuck. There's a strong concentration. You are immersed in it because it is so delightful, so charming. You absorb to it. Internally stuck. Consciousness still has a home, still has a station. So assume that you are able to understand even that is impermanent. No point of holding it. I am just giving it up, relinquishing it. No even a feeling there to hold on to. There is no feeling even to have a footing. So likewise, if we are giving up feelings, if you are giving up any materialistic things, if you are giving up perceptions, if you are giving up thoughts, so the consciousness become homeless. Homeless consciousness. That's the word exactly Buddha used in the Sutta called Haliddakani Sutta. Consciousness which is associating homes are called okasari. Consciousness which is not associating home, that is a homeless consciousness, is called anokasari. You can see how beautifully Buddha, present it. See, okasari means a consciousness which is associating a home. But there are anokasari consciousness where no association of a home. Anokasari iti uchati. They are homeless consciousness. And unestablished consciousness. No footing is there. No manifestation is there. Now that is the theme of another very beautiful verse available in the Diganikaya, Kevadda Sutta. Now one monk is asking a question. He is asking, Katta apocha patavi tejo vayo nagadati. Katta digancha rassancha anung thulang subhasubang. Katta namancha rupancha asesang uparujjati. Very deep question. He's asking Katta apocha patavi tejo vayo nagadati. Actually he asked in a wrong way, then Buddha is the one properly correct it. I am directly telling you the corrected version of the question. So the question is, where this patavi, apo, tejo, vayo does not find footing. Say for example, whenever you are imagining about your son, whenever you are imagining about your mother, father, sister, brother, loved one, whatever it is, so that whatever the patavi, tejo, vayo has a footing in your mind. You have extracted an image, extracted something from what is tangible, what is physical, and that image has a footing in your mind. Now the question is, where such footing is not available? That's the question. Katta digancha rassancha anung tholang subhasubang. So whenever we have some materialistic objects, so we introduce names, we introduce conventions, we introduce different measurements. Okay, this is large, this is small, this is long, this is short. Diga rasa, this is long, this is short. Anung thola, this is very small, this is tiny, this is very large. Subha asubha, this is auspicious, this is not auspicious. This is good, this is bad. All are relative terms. We are using language to describe all these experiences using all these terminologies, all these terms. Now the question is asked, Katta digancha rassancha anuntolang subhasudang asesang uparujjati. All these relative measurements, all these relative terms completely erased. No making happens. No things happens. Things. So when I look at that, it becomes a thing. It's a speaker. A thing, right? So when I look at this, a chair. A thing happens. It's a small chair. So you have a relative terms there. Small chair, a brown chair. A tall speaker, tall stand. So you have those terminologies, right? This is a tall, this is a lean, this is a wooden, this is a chair. So all the different terms are there, relative measurements are there. These are our languages. So we are using all that to describe, to explain, to communicate. If you are looking at it, if it doesn't make a thing in your mind, so the question is where all these different objects does not create an object actually. Even though, we have to use the terms, okay, when you see the chair, but your mind doesn't have a trace of that chair. Mind doesn't have an image of that chair. Mind maintains its clarity. Mind maintains its purity without getting crowded by an impression taken from this chair. Hope you understand what I am trying to tell. Your mind prefers clarity rather than getting crowded by what it has seen. Seeing is stopped just for mere seeing. Mind is not disturbed by what it has seen. What eye has seen. The eye has seen, but mind is not disturbed. Ear has heard, but mind has not disturbed. Nose has smelled, but mind not disturbed. Tongue has tasted, but mind not disturbed. Thought has come, but mind not disturbed. Katta namancha rupancha asesang uparujjati. So where this name and form completely erased, completely prevented. Now see the answer given by the Buddha. Viññānaṁ anidassanam anantaṁ sabbato pabhaṁ. So Buddha say there is a possibility in the mind where the consciousness become non-manifestive. Does not manifest anything in that level, in that state. Anantang, it is boundless, not narrow, not restricted to a particular boundary, to a particular area, rather completely open. Consciousness completely open at that time. Anantang, sabbato pabang, it is lustrous because of the wisdom. Wisdom is available, giving enough support. That wisdom eliminates ignorance. Ignorance of darkness is eliminated as a result of the light of the wisdom. Etta apocha patavi tejo vayo nagadati. In such situation, in the mind, all different impressions taken from patavi, apo, tejo, vayo, all these different materialistic world, all these different objects available in the matter, in the physical world, nothing is now represent in that state of mind. So while you are in that state of mind, your mind can't have any image of any physical object. Etta digancha rassancha anuntulang subha. So in that state of mind, any relative these terms, languages, perceptions, what you are using for communication, nothing could be available in that state in your mind. Mind has to be completely calm, no inner chatter, completely relaxed, completely quiet, completely empty, very pure. Etta namancha rupancha asesang uparujjati. All the name and form related things are completely prevented, erased. Viññānasa nirodhena ettetang uparujjati. So previously what we had, conditioned consciousness, established consciousness, something grown, established, deluded. I is there, I am there, completely deluded. So that type of conditioned consciousness all disappeared now, all ceased. When that all conditioned consciousness, fabricated consciousness, established consciousness has all ceased, then this unestablished consciousness is there, non-manifestive consciousness is there, which is empty in the mind. Completely pure state of mind. We can say it's a pure consciousness. So the Dhamma, the path, the Vipassana help us to achieve it. You can reach it. You can experience it. At least even for a moment. So our endeavor has to be expand it. Can I experience it for some more time? So if you are able to maintain that state at least for some time, at that moment there can't be any unhappiness. There can't be any suffering. Instead you have to be kind of a contented mode. Tadanga nibbutoti uchati. So there Buddha mentioned, you are quenched to that extent. That means till the wisdom is operative in your mind, to the amount of wisdom operative in your mind, you are quenched. You have attained Nibbana. You are experiencing Nibbana. But once you again lose that wisdom, again get attached. You lost Nibbana. Paradise is no more. Again in the mud. So again you are practicing, again taking out, again in the paradise. Again delusion happen, again ignorance happen, again in the mud. So it's a kind of a game now. So when can I again release the mind? Okay, you are practicing, again you are experiencing it, enjoying it, being contented there. But still latent tendencies are operative, asavas are still operative. So again you go and establish the mind. Again go and establish the consciousness. Again get trapped. So we may have to do it till we become arahants. Because the experience is possible, but still the defilements are there. Craving is still there. Temporary, the function of the craving you can stop as a result of the wisdom, but still it is not completely exhausted, not completely evaporated, completely uprooted. Some amount of craving is there. The moment we are able to completely uproot craving, completely eliminate craving, then the mind has to be completely free. That's why tanhakkayo nibbana. So the moment we achieve the complete eradication of craving, uprooting of craving, then nothing to do, we are already in nibbana. Then the consciousness becomes completely unestablished. Okay, with that I conclude today's Dhamma sermon and this series of Attadipa Sutta, where we covered all the 5 aggregates. And it's a very, very interesting sutta, directly talking about each and every aggregate and helping us to achieve the path, giving us straight directions. Okay, this is the path to move, this is the way to practice. A very clear-cut direction is given. So, path is available, instructions are very clear, given by the Buddha. So, let's practice to the best of our ability. Thank you very much for attentive listening. So, there's a small sharing of merits. Today, breakfast dana was offered by Siri Chandra, Takshila and their sons, Sajit and Chamit. Blessings to Sajit and Sadunika's birthdays. And then Chamit and Kasuni's, there is wedding anniversary. And to transfer merits to our late parents. So these are the small wishes they have for their breakfast dana, offering of breakfast dana. And we already discussed or shared merits for the lunch dana. And similarly, we have accumulated fair amount of merits by listening to Dhamma, participating into a Dhamma discussion and practicing. So let's share these all the merits to all the celestial beings, to all the past relatives and whoever in need of merits. And we wish these merits help us also to understand the Buddha's teaching, practice it to the best of our ability, and to attain path, fruition, nibbana. We'll recite the. I asked Venerable Dhamma Alankara to recite the verses. I forget it.